All right, welcome back, guys. We had just an amazing interview. It was me and Sam today. Hunter was unfortunately at work, but me and Sam just interviewed Andre Petroski. If you haven't seen it in the title of this video, maybe you just click play right away. But Andre Petroski, UFC middleweight, also can fight at welterweight. You may know him from The Ultimate Fighter, undefeated with a perfect finishing rate. Sam, how do you think this interview went without giving away any spoilers?
It was pretty good. It was more I think tailored towards like our Ben Parrish interviews, where you just get him talking, and I think you could just tell he loves the game. Like, he loves the fight game.
Exactly. And before we let you guys go over there, well, not over there because it's going to be following this. Before we let you guys listen, we just ask that you guys like, subscribe, hit the share button, do whatever you got to do to help us grow this channel. And then this video was brought to you by BetMGM. So MGM Resorts, you can have your Vegas getaway from anywhere in the world as long as it's legal to gamble. So BetMGM has been good to us. We're going to be good to them. If you have a problem with gambling, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit your state's website to seek help. Even if you're not the one gambling and maybe someone that you know or love is the one with the issue, you can gather some advice to maybe help them with this issue that they may not even know they have. So they'll be able to help you with whatever you guys need. I hope you guys enjoy this interview. It's coming right now. All right, welcome back. Special episode where we're going to have a fighter interview. We did tease it a little bit on this week's show. We have Andre Petroski. You guys may know him from The Ultimate Fighter this most recent season, or you may have seen him getting win after win, starting off his UFC career. Andre, pleasure to have you. How are you doing today?
Good. Had some good training this morning, just at work now, so doing good.
It's always good to hear. So we're pretty, if you have never heard of our podcast, we're pretty much, you can say whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. No one controls us. So let us know if you want to talk about something. But I want to start off with something that I think is going to be near and dear to you. A lot of people always talk about Dagestani fighters in the UFC. People talk about the Californians. Why is there no love for this big community that is coming out of Philadelphia, or at least not enough love coming out?
Yeah, I hear you. The only team that's got a better wrestler or better record than the Dagestani fighters is Daniel Gracie's team. So Pat fights tonight, probably in the next hour, I would assume. If he wins, that's 13-0. We got we're 12-0 with 8 finishes in the UFC. I don't know another team that has that record. So yeah, we're doing good.
It's awesome to see these guys, because I mean, it's not just you. There's Sean Brady, and it started way off before this. Just talking about Philadelphia in general, because you had Eddie Alvarez, Paul Felder was obviously a big part of this, but it seems like on every single card you have someone fighting out of Philadelphia. And I just feel like there's not enough love. Like, how much more can we do before we get a fight at the Wells Fargo? Is it Wells Fargo Arena or Center?
Yeah.
Like, why haven't we hit that point yet?
Yeah, I hear you. So Philly, we have 7 guys in the UFC right now. From Philly, Algiers from King of Prussia, but it's right next door. Honestly, I think it's going to happen soon. It has to. There's been talks about possible times for it, but I think it will happen eventually. It's only a matter of time, especially with Sean in a position to fight for like a number 1 contender spot. And, me, Jeremiah, and Pat both coming up. Chris is fighting in main events. Like, there's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's not a community that's getting talked about enough. The one thing we might be waiting for, though, is I heard that you guys went back to a mask mandate, and I'm sure Dana's not loving that fact. But
yeah, I don't really know what the it doesn't even make sense. Honestly, I don't know how serious it is, to be honest. I feel like I don't even think Philly really follows, I don't know. I think it's all bullshit. I think it's all just I don't know what's going on behind. I think it's for the media, honestly, because I don't see people, we don't really see people wearing masks and shit. I don't know.
I think it just gives a sour taste, and Dana's probably not wanting his guys to go into that.
Yeah. And in the past, the history has been that, the UFC has had difficulties in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
For different reasons, but I'm sure that doesn't help.
Right. And speaking of Dana, he obviously puts you into a great position to really get your name out there. The Ultimate Fighter. Obviously we've seen the show in your season. It seemed like there was a lot less like coverage of what was going on in the house opposed to in previous seasons. I was just wondering, like, is there anything that you can share that maybe we didn't see on camera that like is one of your favorite memories from living in that house? And like, what was the process being like when they gave you that call? Like, what was that all like? How did that all happen?
So they were supposed to do, they had actually postponed it a few times. So they were supposed to do it in the summer. And granted, this is all during like the quarantine. And, you know, we were all getting COVID tests during, I think it was Thanksgiving. And the guy called me, God damn it, what's his name? Not Sal. But anyways, he called me. He's like, yo, don't worry about it. I think they're going to push it back. And they kept pushing it back. I think they pushed it back twice. They canceled it. And then, so we were kind of looking for other fights, thinking it was never going to happen. And then they finally did it. Yeah. So we go out to Vegas, and they fly out like alternates at each weight. So it's 185, 135. They fly out like 3 or 4 alternates at each weight. So they're like, yo, you're not like officially on the show yet. We'll pick at the end, right? So for a week, we're quarantined in a hotel room by ourselves. Like, we would have one doctor's appointment a day, whether it's for a COVID test or like the brain scan or all like just like medicals. But besides that, we were in a room quarantined by ourselves like every day. It was insane. And then at the end of it, they had a UFC event on like a Saturday, and they announced the people that made it on the UFC. So we're sitting in our rooms watching it, and they announced who was chosen. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, like, was there any pranks that like we didn't see? Because obviously Ortega and Volkanovski love to go at it. It almost seems like it's now a pretty well-respected 2 guys after that war that they had back in August, I believe that was. Was there any pranks that we didn't get to see on TV that you kind of wish would have been on there?
Oh, we had it wasn't a prank, but Mitchell Raposa, the kid from Boston, had this like massive cyst on his back, and I popped it, and it was like better than any video on Dr. Pimple Popper. I couldn't believe that they didn't post it, honestly. And the only answer that I kept a bunch of people asked why they didn't air it. And they were like, well, it doesn't really contribute to any of the storylines. But I mean, dude, this thing was, I'm telling you, if they would have posted it on Dr. Pimple Popper, it would have been like, it would have blew up. It was like 3 days before his fight, and I like jab it with a clothespin, and it explodes, and you can see everyone in the back just like going nuts. It was cool. It was wild.
So I guess like I'm trying to think where I was going to go with that. What was harder for you like on that show? Like, was it the being filmed 24/7, or was it the physical training, like doing the fight? Because I would think it's got to be the filming, because that's what you want to go do.
Definitely the filming. The structure I loved. Like, it was like no distractions, no responsibilities. You literally just have to show up to practice every day. Like, and not even show up. Like, they wake you up and they're like, hey, we're leaving in 20 minutes. Like, you do nothing. You don't have to like, there's food at your disposal at all times. Like, everything's taken care of. So that part was super cool. And I always do well with that type of structure. But it is annoying being mic'd up like 24/7. Like, even like when you're in sleep, like there's a microphone right next to your bed. So like in the first like week, you know, you're super careful about like what you're saying. Don't say anything like too ridiculous. And then after a week, you start slipping up and you start saying shit. You're like, damn it. Like, I hope they
you can say whatever you want
here. Like, yeah.
So
dude, those producers were cool, man. They definitely could have thrown quite a few of us under the bus if they really wanted to.
Last question on the Ultimate Fighter before we get into these upcoming fights and like your fighting career, was during the show, do you have anything that you wish you would have done differently outside of the results? You didn't obviously win, so obviously we would have liked to see that differently. One of the boldest things you did was you took that first fight right away voluntarily. Was there anything that you would have done differently, like if you had another chance at it?
So our like, and it was, I don't want to blame the coaches. It was both of us. It was definitely me too. But the strategy for our team was just get to the fight healthy for everyone. Honestly, it was just, look, we don't need to bang it out here. We don't need to spar. Like, let's just do strategy, everything like low pace. We'll do the hard work on the bike, and then we'll be healthy at the fight. As long as we're healthy, we'll beat all these dudes. And I mean, I think it was good, but I think that I needed some hard rounds. I think that doing the bike wasn't enough for me as far as cardio wise, just particularly with the Brian Battle fight.
Makes sense. And he's kind of started to become a star after what didn't look like a great. It looked like he was going to get beaten by Trayshawn Gore. I don't think anyone thinks differently going into that fight. Trayshawn was obviously coming off an injury, so that plays a part in it. But
I think that Brian had the perfect style to beat Trayshawn personally.
And if I'm being real, I actually think I told everyone on the show bet Trayshawn, and I'm pretty sure last second I changed to Brian Battle because I remember a lot of people being pissed at me when I did that. The more you looked into it, I thought it was more leaning Brian. The odds didn't say that, but that's where I ended up going as well. So
yeah, and I'm not saying, look, I think if they fight 10 times, I think Trayshawn wins quite a few of them. But you know, when he shot, he took him down. When he threw, he landed. He just wasn't active enough. But that's how Brian beats everyone. Brian is volume and pace. And like, if you watch all his fights, like, he does the same thing in every fight. He wears you down. He picks you apart. And then when you get tired, he capitalizes.
Would that be a fight that you want now in the future? It
will 100% will happen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, saying that you fought in the Apex and as well as in front of fans in the UFC, do you prefer like the Apex where you can hear your coaches the entire time and like telling you exactly what to do? Or do you just like that atmosphere with like the fans going crazy and you're like kind of getting the energy from them?
It was cool at first because it's I feel like it's almost like a good bridge into the UFC because it's like, yeah, it's more of a comfortable setting for like a UFC debut. So like this will be my fourth fight at the Apex, and like you know what I mean? It's like I want the fans, like I want, you know what I mean? I want more. So that's just where I'm at with it. But in the beginning, I liked it. You know what I mean? I was super comfortable. Like you can see with my first fight on the Ultimate Fighter, like I just felt so comfortable. I didn't feel a lot of pressure at all. Like, I don't know. I felt good every time I walked out there.
Yeah, I know. I was just watching a couple of your two fights, or your first two fights in the UFC before this. And
yeah,
I gotta say you look dominant for most of those fights. You look pretty
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
So you did kind of touch on it. So it is confirmed that this fight will be at the Apex, correct? Coming up.
As far as I know, but I have like heard some rumors, but I don't really know if it's true. But as far as I know, yes, the Apex.
Because I think
like someone put out a poster saying it was to be announced.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like recently. So I don't know if that was just a mistake or something, but I called my manager and they confirmed it. Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, because I honestly, even watching these events, like it's so much better when you have a live crowd there going nuts.
I know. I would have loved to do Phoenix, was the weekend before.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. I don't like, look, I asked for Maximov. I requested Maximov. So like, I can't be like, yo, let me fight Maximov and then be like, well, I want this. I didn't feel like it was my place to start making demands.
Yeah. Like, so I'm from Chicago. He's Sam's from Milwaukee. You're obviously Philadelphia. Like those are three cities that need to get an event here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cities, even just in the US, not even mentioning all of Europe, that really could use these UFC events because the fans are just itching to go to an event.
Dude, the amount of people that hit me up and wanted to come to this fight was like, honestly insane. They were like, "Oh, Vegas, let's go, let's go." I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do for these people.
Right, and like this is an interesting fight for you with Maximov, taking Styles out of it completely. Like Maximov has pretty much adopted this cult following that the Diaz brothers have put up. You obviously have all of the East Coast behind you. It's pretty much East versus West, and those are usually the best battles. So I mean, taking the style out of it, like who do you think that brings an advantage to that we're not in front of fans? Because I know I've seen a lot of these Nate Diaz fans, and they are crazy. But I've also seen a lot of people, especially in the city of brotherly love, that make it known that they are from Philly.
I don't know. I think that I have more experience as far as competing in front of large crowds, to be honest. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think he wrestled at a junior college. Like, I don't know where he would have fought in front of big crowds. Where was his fight against Brundage?
I think that one was at the Apex.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Abu Dhabi was like a big crowd, but it wasn't the same. Like, it wasn't like when I watched like Patty Pimlet at the O2 Arena, like that place went nuts. Like, that's what I want.
That place looked like a pay-per-view event.
Yeah.
They made it look like a full-on pay-per-view.
Wait, that wasn't pay-per-view?
No, that was a normal ESPN. I think they threw that card on ESPN, just the normal ESPN 1 or ESPN 2, whatever it was. But it was not a pay-per-view event.
Yeah,
and that Brundage fight was T-Mobile.
Oh.
They did the same thing with my fight in Abu Dhabi. They couldn't get the pay-per-view to match up with the time difference, so they ended up just making it free.
Yeah, so I think inside that, like, ESPN, I haven't really looked much into this. Within that UFC ESPN contract, one pay-per-view for US viewers is going to be thrown on ABC and ESPN. So I think it just happened to be that one because they knew that not as many people would buy the pay-per-view with it being in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Because I know Dana had already touched on a possible Khamzat Chimaev versus Colby Covington free pay-per-view in the US.
Oh, shit.
Which, I mean, that's two crazy ones to have fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% agree. That's the move. That's the fight to make.
Yeah. So if you were Dana, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, like, what is like 3 fights that you would put together right now? Maybe excluding yourself, including yourself, whatever you want to do.
Man, that's a good question.
Because at the end of the day, I think we're all, as much as you're a fighter, you're also probably a fan of the sport. So
I would really like to see Yair and Ortega fight.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. Dude, I want to see Sean against the winner of Bilal and Luque this weekend. I think that's a good one. Honestly, winner or loser, I obviously you got to do something with Sean. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't think that they're going to give. I think that Chimaev and Colby, it seems like the likely possibility. So I don't know. Maybe Leon Murphy for Sean.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they said he was next for the title shot.
I don't think they've really said anything, which is
kind
of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to give. I'm not going to talk about who I want next, just because.
Yeah.
Out of respect to my opponent, I'm not looking past him.
Kind of focus on him.
Yeah.
So obviously you were Team Ortega, but there was a lot of talk before this weekend between AJ McKee calling out Volkanovski.
Yeah.
How quickly was that put to bed after last night?
I mean, dude, honestly, I don't even think I don't even know how to watch Bellator. It's on cable, right?
So it's on Showtime, but like you have to have the edition of Showtime, which if you're not a fight fan, there's no reason to buy it because there's not any good shows.
Yeah. So like,
and like the prelims are on YouTube.
I would assume that I'm not the only person that like doesn't know how to watch Bellator. So with that being said, nothing against Bellator, well, kind of, but with that being said, I think a lot of people only saw that he called out Volk and then lost. They didn't see the fight. And like, they're like, oh, did he get screwed? I don't know. I didn't see it. So they're like, what a fucking joke.
I didn't have him winning the fight, if I'm being honest. I did watch the event, but I didn't have him winning the fight. I didn't think he looked that good. So
yeah, Sean kind of said the same thing. He watched it and he said, I don't think he got screwed. But Volk's tough, man. Volk is yeah, I would be like, and it I was kind of having this conversation with Kayla Harrison too, but she was basically saying like, dude, you can't call out people from other promotions when you're never going to fight.
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. I guess you can, no one's going to stop you, but it is kind of true. Like, what's the point? You're just really just chasing clout at that point.
Definitely. So going into this next fight, like, what should fans know about you if they don't know about you yet? But this is like your chance to like show them, because you are fighting like a higher profile fighter here.
Dude, I'm 8-9 fights in the UFC, or 8-9 into the UFC, into my pro career, 100% finish rate.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
If you do that, the judges are taken out. So
that's it, baby.
So what is your prediction for the fight?
I think I'll probably finish him in the second or the first.
Yeah. All right. And I know we're not talking about future opponents, but this is like more of a fun question. If you could fight anyone in history, regardless of weight class, who's that one guy that you want to fight? What was that?
Vitor Belfort.
Okay. I like that.
My favorite fight for sure.
And then I know you mentioned after your one of your previous fights in the UFC, you'd fight at middle and welterweight. If you had to choose one of those weight classes, which one do you think you'd have more success at?
Middleweight, 100%.
This is just the weight cut for welter, that 15 pounds, or?
I think that at 70, like if I take a dude down, he's not getting back up. Like there's no way you're getting back up. But I like fighting bigger guys, man. Like I like the Vitor path. Like let's get big and let's fight the biggest dudes, the biggest, baddest dudes. I think that's the goal when you get into martial arts. Like my goal has been like, I want to be the baddest dude. I want to be the best fighter pound for pound. Like, and you can't be like a 35 pounder and say you're the baddest dude in the world. You know what I mean? That's just the facts. Like the heavyweights get paid more. Like people watch heavyweights. People want to watch the bigger guys.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I want to fight the big guys.
No offense to Volkanovski, but if he fights Ngannou, there's not a challenge. Like, Ngannou's going to knock him out.
I don't know, dude. Volk's pretty tough. Nah, you're right. You're right.
But, I mean, that's where the pound for pound is a little, like, flawed. Like, there's no one really beating up on Ngannou unless it's another heavyweight.
Right.
So, all right. I mean, if you want to, like, plug anything, if you have any charities, foundations, whatever you do that you want to let people know about, this is your chance.
Everybody tune in this weekend and watch Pat fight. Well, actually today, tune in, watch Pat Sabatini fight, extend Daniel Gracie's team record to 13-0.
Perfect. All right, Andre, it's been a pleasure having you. We hope to have you again on after you beat up on Nick Maximov, and we'll kind of recap everything and then moving on with the Philly takeover inside the UFC.
Hell yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.